This is Five with Friends, not your uncle's podcast. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode, everyone. My name is Zain. Don't ask why, just put an I. And with me this week is Amina.
Hello.
And Samrah.
You got it.
How's it going?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Summer, you seem like so low energy today.
I think as I am. I'm like really tired. Not that I don't want to be here. I'm like, because I want to be able to sleep even if I wasn't doing this. But I don't know. I just feel super tired today. I think it's because I didn't sleep great the night before. I didn't sleep great last night. And then I didn't go to work yesterday. So then today I went to work and it was like crazy. And it was like nonstop because I missed yesterday. And God forbid you missed one day. And
it felt like Monday, even though it's Wednesday.
It felt like a Monday, even though it was a Wednesday.
But in a good way, you're almost done with your week.
Yeah, I guess. I just still have so much to do. And then, yeah, it just feels like there's a lot happening. What?
I said on a positive note, see me tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night. But it won't be till late.
What? Take it
yeah. Because I gotta go to work and then come back. Yeah. To this side of town. So
you see how annoyed I am? I'm like, ugh.
Because I probably won't be back till like 8 or 9.
What?
Because then there's traffic and...
I am affronted by that.
Well, sorry.
Okay. I went to your area today, Zan. I was in Queens.
I heard. How was that? How was that going?
So I was watching my niece, I was watching one tea kettle, not the other tea kettle. And she's a little spitfire.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a funny personality.
First of all, we never referred to JoJo as a tea kettle.
Okay, well, she is now another tea kettle.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
But she was just adorable and sweet, and also cried, but was sweet and very funny personality.
Oh my God, I love it. It is just...
I have video of her doing every sound effect that in the world, like just doing all her like little quirky sounds in one video, and she growls like a demon, but it's really does that.
It's so funny. Excuse me.
And, so I was with her, and I was there, and then I left, and 2 hours to get home.
Oh my God, all that traffic.
No matter when I would have left, it would have been 2 hours, and that's like, so I just like was like, okay, gotta brave it. And it wasn't terrible considering. I wasn't like in stop traffic. I just took 84 instead of Merritt, and I guess 84 it's 2 hours as opposed to Merritt, which is like an hour and a half, I guess. I don't know, but anyway,
that's cool.
It was a lot. It was a baby fun. I saw Black Klansman.
How was it? What did you think of it?
I disagree with you.
So you disagree with the ending, right?
I liked the ending.
Okay, so it seems like I'm the only one so far that feels like that ending was weird. But now explain to me what you thought. What was your review?
There were so many parts of that movie where I was like, oh my God, that's today. Oh my God, that's today. Oh my God, that's today. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, you're like, there, that story. Okay, sorry, Samrah. None of this is spoilers, by the way, to the actual story. Okay, but when they brought in that man to speak, right, and he talks about that guy who was just terribly tortured and lynched in front of a giant white mob.
Yes,
and that I think I was crying when I was listening because it was so heartbreaking to hear and so terrible. Like my heart was hurting actually listening to it. And you think like, oh my God, like look what you do. at, and then you see the Klansmen burning the cross, and you're like, look at what they used to do. And then they show today, and you go, this is still happening. Nothing has changed. We just look at it and through a different lens, but it's the same shiz. We watch a man being choked to death on camera, and we say nothing. And same as the white people who watched that man get lynched 100 years ago. And we say nothing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was so powerful. Everyone in the theater was completely silent when it ended. And the whole movie, like, it's pretty funny. It's a very funny movie.
It's a good movie, yeah.
Yeah, and so the end is just so powerful, and it's silent, and everyone was quiet walking out of the theater.
Wait, one second. Hold on, before you go on. When you say ending, are you talking about the ending that I'm thinking of, or I'm thinking of the president, like the current president, that ending.
Wait, it ends on the flag turning black and white.
No, but like right before that, it's like you see, Donald Trump.
No,
like that.
No, it's the montage of the right now.
Yeah,
I get that, but it ends right.
No, yeah. Okay, so let me clarify. It's the Donald Trump part that bothered me the most.
Yeah, and I that didn't bother me. I think it showed how you felt throughout the whole movie. Oh, that's still happening, but we're better than that. That's still happening, but we're still better than that. And then it's not. It's still happening, and we're not better than that.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful. I really liked it. So, Samrah, now you just gotta watch it.
Yeah, okay, I will. I mean, that sounds really intense, and usually, like, you guys know how I feel about intense, and I don't know why now. I really, really do, but I relate. I don't like feeling tense. I think it's because I feel tense a lot, and I just don't, when I watch TV or a movie, don't want to still feel tense.
You wanna turn your brain off and like...
I just really want to relax and enjoy the movie, and I feel like that's why it takes me time to watch like Game of Thrones or something, because that's like a tense, stressful... It's good. It doesn't mean that tense things, shows, or movies are not good. They're good, and they can be very good, but it's tense and stressful, and the last thing I really want to do is like really throw myself into another tense situation.
Well, this is a true story, and it's tense, but it's tense in a different way. It's more like tense in the sense that this is a problem that's pervasive in society, as opposed to like, oh, will this person die, or this, that. You know what I'm trying to say?
And they do it in a very lighthearted way. Weird,
they do make jokes,
humorous,
and you
in a
feel
humorous-y
okay.
type way.
It's just one scene, I think, really, the scene I was talking about the man talking. That scene, I think, hurts your heart the most. But the rest of the movie is, you feel like something's gonna happen, like something bad's gonna happen, but it's not like you feel like anxiety like Game of Thrones. But if you're looking for a movie that has no anxiety whatsoever, look no further than the movie we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well,
but I do want to make one... Oh.
This movie could give you some anxiety.
In a way, it could.
Actually, I take it back, because she freaking annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah. But anyways, Andy, we're gonna say something.
No, I just wanted to make one quick point, and I'll end it on that. We can talk about it next week. I just want, like, the reason why, and let me just clarify, the reason why I had a problem with the ending, right? And I was holding back because you clearly didn't watch the movie. The reason why I don't like that ending is because it shows that that 20 years from now, no one's gonna be watching this movie ever. Like, it's gonna be dated forever. It's gonna always forever be dated 2018 when the movie came out. You can't watch this movie technically in 2025, because it's like they're gonna be like, oh crap, like this is all happening in the 70s. It's a story about this guy who got into the KKK, blah blah blah. Oh, there's a huge scene with Donald Trump and all these this entire montage.
I disagree with you.
How crappy our world is, and then 2025 comes along. I'm just picking a random date. 2025 comes along. You're like, oh,
but I do.
It's just like,
I see what
I just don't like how he wanted to really drive home the point that like everything that's happening in this movie is happening today, because he's already did it. He already did it for the first 2 hours. It's a 2-hour long movie. The entire 2 hours was him pointing out, like the Spike Lee was pointing out that the movie was basically what's happening nowadays, right? So there was no need for him to put that last Donald Trump montage. What's the point of that? That makes no sense to me. The movie was not about Donald Trump. The movie is about the guy and how brave he was to go to this be a police officer and get to this point that where he's going, he's infiltrating the KKK. But why do you need to involve Donald Trump all of a sudden? That makes no sense.
Because he's the leader of the nation. And
but it's like what?
No. I have to say it because in the movie they say, sorry, Samrah, I feel really bad because you haven't seen this movie, but in the movie he says blatantly, America would never elect a man like this. Okay?
Yeah, but it was done in tongue in cheek.
Right?
Though,
no, but this is when I disagree because you are a brown American in this country. We have a different perspective, but for white Americans who cannot seem to put this two and two together, that politics and racial inequality and this racism that's fervent in this country are one and the same. It was to drive that point home that this is not ending, because there are people who would not put two and two together. I swear to God to you, Zain, there are people who literally are like, oh, racism exists, but it has nothing to do with politics.
You're really right, Amina.
No, and I agree with that too. I agree with that. But I mean, maybe I feel like I have too much faith in humans. Yeah, you do. That I feel like humans are a little more smarter than having someone drive be like, oh, hey. No. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the smart one, I guess, right? Maybe
you are.
But it's just like,
you're a brown American in this country who has been on the.
I think you think like this, and I think we were actually just kind of talking about this the other day. But I think you think like this because we are privileged enough to live in an area where a lot of people around you probably think similar. Not everybody around you, because clearly, there's all shades and walks of life around us. But I'm just saying most people around you probably think very similar to you. That we know it's happening today. And this isn't even done. And we can put two and two together by saying, hey, what happened back then is still happening today. But clearly, there are hundreds of millions of people in this country that don't know that or don't recognize.
True.
And I to go to your point that it's dating it, I really don't think so, because I think people can look back on this movie and say this movie was in 2018 and this was happening in 2018, and then they can go, oh, so this was still a problem after the civil rights movement 60-something years later, and and I don't doubt that it will be a problem in 20 years, and they can look back on this movie and go, it didn't get fixed. It's just a pervasive problem that just continues, and we keep putting band-aids on it. And the thing is I watched it with a white friend, and she was saying that her grandparents would have hated the movie because they think that it's they would think it's too politicized, and that politics has nothing to do with the racism that was in this country. And I'm like, how could you say that even with the ending of this movie, with a leader who blatantly says that they were bad people on both sides in Charleston, when there were Nazis walking on the streets of Charleston, the same people like the Ku Klux Klan members calling death to Jews and death to African Americans. I just don't understand, and that's the thing. That is why I think they should have put that ending in the movie, just to drive it home. And yes, I think you're right that it was heavy-handed, but I think we need heavy-handed. I think people they need a slap in the face.
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, we'll talk about it next week.
I think artistically you're right to an extent. I think
I'm just thinking as an overall picture. Like, the movie was about the guy. It's not about Donald Trump. Like, nothing. I mean, I get it that the political climate now is similar to what they were showing them, but it's not about I mean, I felt like all these tongue-in-cheek like comments that they made about the current president made sense. I think that was more tasteful than to be like, all right, well, the movie's ended. Let me show you a montage of how crappy this world is again, showing clips of Donald Trump talking. It's like, oh my god, like I'm watching Fox News again, you know? Like I don't want that. I wanted the
Fox
movie.
News would show that he's good, so.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what I mean? It's like I'm watching the movie because I was interested in the guy's story. It's based off of his book. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It's based off of his book. You know what I mean? Like I was interested in his book, not him.
It in contrast to Donald Trump. I haven't even seen the movie, but clearly he's putting it in comparison to Donald Trump to just again showing those hundreds of millions of Americans who might not think the way you think.
That's true. Yeah.
That this is really still happening. Like, open your eyes, people. Like, you know, because people truly believe. I have a very good example, and we're going way more into this than we need to. But I really got to.
This is a very good topic. Yeah, that's why
I have to say this, and the reason why is I know this girl. I'm not friends with her. I actually don't really like her. So if you're listening to this, but I don't really like her. So she's a friend of a friend, and you know the friend that she's friends with is Indian, desi girl. And, you know, you'd be like, oh, she's friends with an Indian. She's not, you know, racist by any means or discriminatory because look at her friend. And she once dated, you know, a black guy. So there's no way. Well, she's her and her fiance, and she's not with this she's not with this guy anymore, so she's with, you know, her and her fiance are huge Trump supporters. So okay, fine, you want to be a Trump supporter, be my guest. Some people are just in it for the economic reasons, like he's going to do great for the economy, but I don't agree with X, Y, and Z. But that's not even it with them. They literally, like, this whole Nike campaign with Colin Kaepernick, I think it's amazing. Right? It's like this huge
I've yet to see an issue with the whole Kaepernick thing.
Well, of course, you don't see it because you don't think.
Well, yeah, but that's, you know, that's where my point of view. Yeah, sorry.
So, but this girl then today posted like, a picture of, like, you know, the logo of Nike upside down and somebody wearing a shirt like "Just don't do it," and then writing like "F Nike." It's like you clearly do not understand what he is doing, what he does, what he's doing,
what he's trying to say,
why he's protesting the way he's protesting. It's not because he actually does not like this country. It's not because he's not an American. It's not because he actually hates the anthem. It's because he, like every protest, peaceful protest, like so many that were done since World War One, when you just don't agree with something.
When you don't agree with it, you hate it. Yeah. I 100% see what you're saying, because in the movie they talk about Muhammad Ali, right? And they go, oh, that draft dodging, blah, blah, blah. And they make that statement, right? And you're just like, now people look back on Muhammad Ali and they think of him as a civil rights leader. You know? And an amazing athlete. Look, obviously Muhammad Ali.
This girl lives here. So you're like, oh, we live in an area where, yeah, I get exactly what I just said. Most people don't think like this in our area, but some people still do, which means think about, we're living in one of the, other than maybe California, in one of the most progressive thinking, liberal think. Well, I don't like to use the word liberal and conservative
anymore. I know it's become but I know what you're saying, open-minded
area.
Woke.
Yeah, exactly, woke, other than California maybe, and maybe some parts of Florida, aka Miami, but Miami-Dade area, but you have this where you still have people who don't think like you, yet we're in the best part, we're living in, you know, the most
all these people from high school posting on Facebook. I saw a picture today of Osama bin Laden with the same logo.
Yeah.
The Nike believe, and it was someone, and he's in the, you know, the Marines, and all these people from high school liking it and like commenting and laughing, and I'm just like, you know, you were raised here, you grew up here, how do you have this mindset? And the thing is just they literally have not talked to someone and made friends and had a meaningful conversation with people of color in their life, and those are the people that don't realize how deep this goes.
Right. And just think about if that's in this area, in the most woke part, you know, again, minus California and some parts of Florida or stuff. Imagine the rest of America.
They just cannot fathom it. And so maybe Spike Lee is heavy-handed with it, and maybe it's to us it's redundant and this that and but honestly, they need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
This is America, quoting Childish Gambino.
But also, at the end of the day, do I also believe that a lot of those people are actually going to go and watch this type of movie? No.
Oh, no.
No.
They're not.
They're not. But whoever does potentially go and see it, it's to say, hey, this is what we're trying to show you guys. And I didn't see the movie, but I agree with doing that just because in today's day and age, clearly, people just don't see it.
This whole Nike thing pisses me off. Pisses me off. But you know what? We can talk about it.
Put a bow on that. Put a bow on that Nike topic, and we'll save it for next week.
Oh, we are.
Because obviously now we're 20 minutes in. We gotta get into this. We have to get into this Bollywood breakdown.
Okay, let me do my introduction of it, please. I need to do it
Okay,
now.
yes, go for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for the Bollywood breakdown.
You know, Samrah, why don't you say it a little louder?
Because it has to be serious.
Every time you do it, I always have to like crank up the volume and edit because you're like,
wait, okay, let me do it again. I'm gonna do it in the same voice, but the mic is right next to me. Bollywood breakdown.
Beautiful.
Better.
Beautiful. Amazing. 10 out of 10.
See?
Yeah. So, after all this teasing for the past couple of weeks now, the movie that we picked for Bollywood Breakdown is Aaina, a 1993 movie that came out, starring arguably my favorite female actress in all of Bollywood, Juhi Chawla.
Arguably one of my favorites as well.
Yes, it's Juhi Chawla as Rima. It is Jackie Shroff as Ravi. What a great name too, Ravi Saxena.
Not
Saxena.
Saxena. Whatever. And then,
it's a very wealthy sounding name, Saxena.
Saxena.
Yeah.
And then you got Amrita Singh as Roma. Roma and Juhi, Juhi, Rima, Amrita, Roma, they're sisters.
Roma and Zima.
So, fun fact, I didn't know this until recently, but Amrita Singh was married to Saif Ali Khan.
Mm-hmm.
I read that last night too. I was like, whoa.
She's about 10 years older than him, I think.
Oh, wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they must really like each other. Or are they still married or no?
No, Saif Ali Khan's married to Kareena Kapoor. They got divorced
you're right.
quite a few years ago.
It says 2004, according to Wiki.
There you go.
But yeah, no, so the movie's Aaina, which translated in English means mirror. Also something I did not know. I didn't know
that Aaina meant mirror?
I literally never knew. This is the first time in my 26 years of existence that I knew that Aaina meant mirror.
Aaina is the same thing as shisha.
That's what I thought. It was going to be shisha. I didn't know it was called Aaina. But whatever, nonetheless. Movie came out in 93. I've kind of went through who stars the thing. Is there any background that you guys have? I mean, we want to just go right into it?
Chopra film.
It's a Yash Chopra film. It's a very big producer, Yash Chopra. He's
massive.
He's one of the greatest.
Not live
anymore. He's not alive anymore, but he's known as being one of the greatest directors of all of Bollywood.
Directors, massive production company. Yeah. I mean, this is like getting a movie under like the Lion Company or whatever here. The one with the lion logo. MGM. Which one is that?
MGM.
No, isn't that Warner?
No, wait, no. Warner is the WB.
I don't know.
The whatever. Frog.
Okay, let's go on.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Am I wrong?
So I'm going to be leading this a little bit here, but I'm going to preface here that my notes aren't weren't when I took these notes initially, I wasn't thinking that I was gonna lead it with it. So a lot of these notes are just like all over the place, but we can get through this. It'll be fun. So the movie starts off glitz and glamour, shows that they are in a pageant of some sort, right? There are two little girls, like a young children pageant. And Juhi Chawla's character as a little kid, she played by another person, who knows? She wins.
Obviously, it's not Juhi Chawla as a child.
She wins the pageantry, and her sister, who was also in the pageant, it's inferred that she's always won every year, and this is the first year that Juhi Chawla, or her younger self, won this pageant. So she gets really pissy about it. She gets really annoyed because it's for her sister. Roma has always been the center of attention. She's always liked to be the center of everything. She's always, she always gets what she wants. She always gets what she desires, whatever. Yeah, she's a POS. So when the pageant happens, they go back home. They find out that Roma's throwing such a hissy fit that Juhi Chawla, in her niceness of her heart, she gives the trophy to her, being like, well, you can win. You can win this, for whatever. And so then they're all at home, and they're all taking pictures. They're all taking pictures next to the thing. First off, my first note is, good Lord, these kid actors are so bad. They're so bad at acting.
There's nothing worse than old Bollywood child actors. They're terrible.
It was hard to get through those scenes at points. You're like, holy crap, you're really bad. Like, what did they do? Did they even bother taking doing couple what do you call it? Redoing the scenes? That's the word I was looking. Redoing the scenes or not? No, they just kind of felt like they just went with the first scene and went with it. At one point, I think after the whole pictures were being taken, the grandma goes up to the mother of both Roma and Rima, and she basically sums up, so much foreshadowing, it sums up the entire plot of the movie. The quote goes, teach your elder daughter how to lose, the elder daughter being Roma, and the younger one, Rima, how to win, or else the lives of both of them will be difficult. That's basically, that's all, that's the entire movie right there.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, we can end it.
Yeah, right. We can end it. Taking pictures with the trophy. One of the notes that I have here is that the mom in that scene, she was wearing this blue Shroff kameez suit, and I literally wrote in my notes, I swear my mom has the same blue suit. That's all I wrote.
Probably done.
Because it looks so familiar. She wore it. I'm like, wow, I felt like I've seen that before. So maybe my mom has it. I might dig it up. Let's see what happens. And then I don't know I don't remember exactly what happens in between, but I think there were I think Roma, being the center of attention, wanted to get even more attention at that point, and then there was a dramatic slap. Like, she slaps Rima. Like I said, I don't remember exactly. You can kind of fill in the blanks for me, guys. But there was some reason why. But Roma decides to slap Rima in the face, and it was so dramatic. And I thought that was pretty funny.
As children?
As a children, yeah, they slapped each other.
Holy shit!
Oh, I don't remember.
Remember that.
It was a huge dramatic slap, and there was echoes, and you're like, oh my god.
Okay, also where
were the parents at this point?
One, where were the parents? Two, if she's slapping you at age whatever, 8. There's no rehabilitation. She's a sociopath or a narcissist, I think is the better word for it. She's crazy, and there's no fixing. She's just a bad egg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's just a POS. And then
shit. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And then as the movie transitions into them being their current age, the 20s, late 20s, whatever. I thought it's probably one of my favorite lines in the entire movie so far, and it was in the very first minutes of the movie. It goes, Roma, as a kid, is in front of her mirror, and she goes, Roma, you are so beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the yas are just echoed forever. Echoed for a good minute. You're like, yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my god.
And then it just slowly transitions into them being, their whatever age they are now, mid-20s, whatever you want to believe.
Holy crap, that is so bad.
Yeah, you are beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to add an echo effect in that point. I want to remember that.
Write it down.
I'm writing it down. So now they're older. The movie starts off with Roma getting ready to go out. Rima, she's at work. She works at this bookstore of some sort, and she comes across Jackie Shroff, or Ravi Saxena. Now, can you clarify with me, guys? Is this guy is Ravi supposed to be an author, or is he an actor, or is he a businessman? Right, he's a businessman.
I think he's a businessman.
Okay, he's just like a straight up nothing else.
He's
just
not an actor. No. Because
No, he's not an actor.
Okay, because it came across a little bit like that, but I mean, he did say businessman many times in the movie. I just wanted to double check.
What's the business specifically? We'll never know.
We'll never know. But he's a famous businessman. And he comes to the bookstore. He's just trying to buy a book. And Rima must have, she has such a crush on him. And this is where I was confused. It's like, how did she get the crush right then and there? Or did she always know about him? I don't know exactly.
She probably had a crush right then and there because that's the movie.
That makes sense, right? It's Bollywood. So she gets a crush on him, and then whatever. So then it kind of cuts back to Roma. She's getting ready to go out, and things happen. She goes out to go to this art exhibit, and it just so happens that Ravi Saxena was also there too. All they do in that entire scene is talk about red dots, and they're flirting about red dots, because the way it is, it's an art exhibit, and if you want to buy a painting, you put a red dot. So the amount of puns and the amount of times that they mentioned red dots between each other was kind of unusual. You were just like, all right, I get it. Like you like each other clearly.
And this is Rima.
This is Roma. This is Roma. Yeah. So no, Rima was at work, and she gets a crush, and then kind of cuts back to Roma getting ready, and then she goes to this art exhibit. Yeah. So they flirt, and that scene ends, and then kind of goes back to Rima, Juhi Chawla, because it goes back to her. She's at home now. She's watching TV, and she sees that Jackie Shroff, Ravi Saxena, is on TV, and it's one of those Entertainment Tonight type interviews, and he's saying that, oh yeah, the interviewer was like, well, is there someone in your life right now? And he goes, yeah, there's someone that I like a lot right now in my life, but I'm not going to say her name. And the entire scene was him teasing who this person was. Rima, obviously having this crush on him, thinks that it's about her.
First of all, they don't even...
Why would she think it's her? I don't understand people. Why would she think
they all met once, okay?
They met once for 5 seconds.
Not they grew up together or anything. She's like, oh, I saw him at a bookstore. We maybe spoke 2 words to each other, but he's talking about me.
Yeah. So it's like
she's a little crazy.
She's a little crazy, yeah. But then so she daydreams, and it goes into the very first song. Guys, you can sing it for me. I don't know how it goes. It's the song is called Dil Ne Dil Se Kya Kaha, that one?
Dil Ne Dil Se... No. That's not it. I have a different tune.
I wish I could sing it. I don't remember. I want to hear it before.
That's a different tune. Oh my god, I know this song, but I'm forgetting the tune. Ye kaha hai tumse. Something like that?
Something like that. Oh god, this is gonna bother me so much. Whatever.
Oh.
There you go.
Never mind. I'm thinking of.
Na 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 na. That's all I know of the song. There you go. सुन जरा ये रहा है क्या सदा सुन जरा मौसम बहारों का So she daydreams. The entire song happens, and the song ends. Right, great song, whatever, great first song. Kind of cuts back to Roma being, Amrita Singh. She goes back to her, and she's still at the art exhibit, and they're now at the auction. They're auctioning off these like, you know, stuff, whatever. The first item off for bid was a mirror, Aaina, and it's a mirror, and like so the way it works out is that she would bid Roma, and Jackie Shroff, obviously after this huge flirting thing that they did earlier that day, I guess he is infatuated with her, so like he's doing these weird things where every time she bids, he would always bid the same amount plus $1. So I wrote down the amounts here. What?
How you flirt, am I right?
Yeah, that's how you flirt, right? Clearly, you just throw away money like that. So I wrote down the amounts here. So he buys a mirror for 5,001 rupees. He buys a vintage tub and toilet for 30,001 rupees. And mind you, though, I love, and this clearly was intentional. When they showed when the camera cuts to the vintage tub and toilet, the toilet literally looks like it came out of a gutter. It's like the grossest. Like it has brown stains on it. Like, I mean, it's vintage in the sense that it was painted with like flowers all over it, but like they left the seat open, like the seat wide open, and the seat was brown, and it's so gross. You're like, clearly did that as a joke, but that's so funny that they, like, it's vintage. It's a vintage toilet, and he bought it for 30,000 rupees, which probably was like what, $300 nowadays.
Well, Indian rupee is higher.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just really gross. So he buys all the stuff. Roma wasn't having it. She was like, you know, like, yeah, you're flirting with me with your money, but I mean, I'm not really having it. She's playing hard to get. So it cuts. So that the day ends. It's the next morning. They're all having breakfast. They're all having nashta, and then as Roma comes down to eat some nashta, the dad is like, well, do you have something to say? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, how much money did you spend last night? The dad says. And then Roma was like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't spend I didn't spend a single dollar. He goes, well, explain this. And it's all the items that Jackie Shroff bought. It's the mirror. It's the vintage tub. It's the vintage toilet. That's gross. And this is my second favorite line in the entire movie, was when the dad gets up angry, being like, all you do is spend my money and blah, blah, blah. And quote for quote, this is what he says. He goes, I have no money to burn on such antique rubbish. The way he said it was the funniest thing.
I have no money to burn on antique rubbish.
On this antique rubbish.
I mean, it
literally is. It literally is.
Painted flowers.
What?
Painted flowers on it.
Why would you want to buy a okay, anyways, let's... Like, and what do you get from buying a toilet?
I don't know.
And
I guess
not,
like,
and
that's what Rima... Yeah, and that's what Rima is saying in the breakfast table, was that she was like, yeah, you know, like why yeah, I bet that that toilet will look really nice in our bathroom right now, like as a joke. And then the grandmother cracks a joke on her. Clearly she's ashamed, Roma, being like, holy crap, this dude is like way too into me for some reason. So he and on the mirror, the Aaina, he writes his phone number, 614-7818. Wrote it down. So they talk.
We should call it.
Yeah, we should call it, right?
I'm just joking. Okay.
Well, no, yeah, we should call. Like, we'll do it another time. We'll put our our area codes and see who picks up. 614-7818. So yeah, so then so they obviously, she calls him, they meet up for lunch,
romantic date, and then like they flirt, and he basically is like, yeah, well, I just like you a lot, blah blah blah. Cue the next song, which is Mere Sanso Mein Tum. Can you guys, I don't... No? There you go. No.
Na 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 na.
I'm like, I know the song, but when I'm like, I cannot. I only know 3 songs out of this from the top of my head.
Yeah, I only know 3 songs.
मेरी सांसों में तुम दिल की धड़कन में तुम हो रहती हो मेरे ख्यालों में तुम मेरी सांसों में तुम दिल की धड़कन में तुम हो रहती हो मेरे ख्यालों में तुम मेरे महबूब बहुत खूब क्या तेरी तारीफ करूं
Off the top of my
This movie is not as iconic as Hum Aapke Hai Kaun when it comes to music.
No,
No,
not at all.
no.
Like they're this movie is literally I think the same 3 songs that you're talking about, Amina, is the same thing 3 songs that I knew from this movie too. So but I just like that Mere Sanson Mein Tum. It's I in my notes I wrote like the translation of that. You live in my breath. You live in the heartbeats.
My breath.
You live in my breath. You live in the heartbeats. It's
Heartbeats
like,
is not
alright.
as weird as you live in my breath.
Yeah, because I watched the movie with subtitles, and I mean I don't need the subtitles, but I watched it anyway just to see how funny it could be, and I just thought that was so funny that I had to write it down. That it literally said "You live in my breath." I'm like, okay, so yeah, right, breath stank. So yeah, the song happens, song ends, and then it cuts back to them in the same table. They're still flirting their butts off. I think he presents her a ring, being like either I don't know whether he announces that he wants to get married with her then, or they're like I don't know.
Just an expensive gift.
Because there's 2 scenes. There's one scene that he brings the ring out, being like, this is what I want to give you, and there's another scene where he brings the ring out again and actually says that he wants to get married with her. I think this was the first one where he just brings it out being like, hey, this is the ring that I want to give you. But then, as he's trying to confess his love with her with this ring in the hand, a weird afro-haired looking Desi dude comes up, interrupts them because he goes, hey Roma, you have such a beautiful face. Can I just take a few photos for you? Like photos for my whatever like lifestyle magazine that he had. So
You are so beautiful.
You're so beautiful. You have such a beautiful face. And I'm like, all right, cool. So she literally becomes an Instagram model for like 10 minutes. Like in between this date that they had, she literally just gets up, goes to the nearby pool, takes a few photos, comes back, and then the photographer goes, you're a photographer's delight. I wrote that down. You're a photographer's delight. And it was and then it was kind of awkward, but whatever, right? And then they talk about more about like that they're flirting even more, and they're talking about marriage, and then Romo's like, well, yes, I would like to get married with you, but let's talk to the parents first, right? Because it's all moving really fast. Seemingly it's happened within the last 2 days, all of this happened, but like obviously we got to pretend that it happened over a course of time. So it goes back to Juhi. I wrote down here that Rima was wearing a dress that's too big for her. I felt like she was wearing a dress that's way too large.
Well, I felt like the whole thing with Juhi Chawla was in this movie was that she was like, because the sister like put her down a lot or whatever.
Yeah.
She was like frumpy. She was made out to be like a frumpy sister.
Yeah, she was
Frumpy.
like like think of it as like Cinderella, like the Cinderella being like the ugly kind of like not ugly, but you know, like, oh, you're a castaway type person.
Yeah.
And not entirely that way in the movie, but like that's how she was presented as. Like she had glasses, like huge large glasses that took up her face. She, like I said, she had a dress on that was clearly way too big on her. She has her hair in braids because she's like really soft spoken and like to herself type person, like very like introverted type person. So when she finds out that Ravi is coming over for dinner to talk to her parents, once again she gets this idea that that he's talking about her. So she works herself up. She gets all dolled up. Her father also thinks that it's about her too, because when she was watching him on the TV, she was telling his dad, being like, oh yeah, this is like I have such a crush on him, blah 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 blah. So even the dad was like, oh wow, like this is actually happening. You met this dude in the bookstore. He's gonna actually come out and he's actually gonna take your hand in marriage, whatever, you know. And then it crushes her soul when they find out that he's actually there for Roma, and she leaves the room. She goes up to her room. She starts crying. Her dad comes up thinking that she's just still waiting on the sweets that they were trying to get for the newlywed couple. So she finds out the dad finds out she's crying. The dad starts crying, and it's a really sad scene because I guess you're rooting for Juhi Chawla to get that comeuppance. And yeah, one of the quotes, I don't know why I wrote this quote down, but I just wrote that that's my brave girl and whatever.
It's kind of a pathetic character, honestly, in the movie.
The dad?
No. Juhi Chawla is a pathetic character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. She's she's a pushover, and you'll see how it is.
Exactly what the grandmother says, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. What was the quote again? It was
like if she's so used to losing that it's going to be a problem for her.
Yeah, and teach the younger one how to win.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So then that happens. That entire scene happens, but she gets over it immediately because she knows that guest is over. So she comes down, puts a smiley face on, congratulates them, serves them mitai, sweets. Excuse me. So that day ends. The next day, she gets Roma. She gets a phone call from the same photographer, and he gives her a modeling offer. And she's infatuated because obviously, as her character in the movie, she's very full of herself. She's very extremely narcissistic. So she's so narcissistic that it's clearly a detriment, and you'll see as we break this movie down even further that it affects her life clearly. So she brings it up to Ravi, being like, "Hey, I got this movie offer. Should I go for it?" Ravi goes, "Well, it's up to you." And she's like, "Well, I really want to do it." And then but I want to know what your opinion is. And Ravi's like, "Well, I don't want you to do it." Boom. And so obviously
this is the only time I feel for her, right? Because she does love him. I don't think she doesn't love Ravi, right? Samrah, would you agree?
I
think she actually genuinely loves him.
I don't think
she loves him, but I think she likes him.
Okay, whatever.
It's one of those things where I don't think they made it clear that she hates him at this point.
Right.
She clearly she likes them because seemingly this happened all within a week, the way this was edited. So I guess she's clearly still likes the guy. I guess she just likes the fact that she can be a model more.
No, the thing is I think had he let her do it and been like, yeah, go do that, and I will stick by you. I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she would have moved on from him, but I feel like things would have turned out differently.
Yeah, that's true. No, I agree. I feel like if he was
a career, do you think that she would have stuck with him, or
I would have thought so. At that point in the movie, I would have thought so.
Yeah,
so
I think she would have stuck.
Yeah, go ahead. I support you. The whole movie would have been avoided, and they would have ended up together.
I do think that his reasoning behind him refusing was kind of pathetic. He literally didn't give any explanation why. She asked him 3 or 4 times in the in that scene, being like, "Why don't you want me to do it?" And he goes, "Because I said so." It's what kind of stupid stuff was that? It makes no sense.
So I feel bad for her in that sense. She did ask him.
Yeah, exactly. So she did. She did.
It would have been like, yay, and then it would have been over.
Exactly. So that happens. But obviously, after he refuses, she doesn't take that. She doesn't listen to him, and it cuts immediately into her stereotypically doing model pictures just in front of a green screen and just and I like how they were playing the basketball song in the background, the dun 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 dun, and she's just doing stupid poses. So
modeling song.
That's clearly right. So that all happens, right? So clearly she chose that path anyway. We see the next day or whatever happens, the next scene, that they were planning to watch a movie. You see Ravi waiting in his car, being like, "Where is she?" Blah blah blah. And she's running late because she was modeling. She was doing all these model pictures, and she finally gets there really late. And like she could makes up some excuse and whatever. But then as they were going to walk into the movie theater, I guess these two random like Pepsi workers, I guess they were working at a Pepsi like store, and they were like there was a bunch of bottles behind them, and they were just like harassing her and harassing him, both like the couple, saying these stupid crap, whatever. So then obviously Ravi, being the wealthy businessman that he is, the macho wealthy businessman, he takes off his shirt. Takes off his shirt and starts beating them up.
Wait, and is he like shirtless?
No, I don't think that he's shirtless. I think he just like unbuttons like. I know. Well, maybe he did take off his fur. Maybe he had a banyan underneath, but I don't know. Like a what is it? A wife beater shirt, whatever.
A banyan.
A banyan. So yeah. So then it's a huge fight scene, very over dramatic. Clearly, there's no realism in Bollywood fight scenes at all. So that all happens. So they're fighting. And then after the fight's over, he obviously beats them, and he goes, he's like, all right, let's just leave. We're not watching this movie anymore. So that all happens. And then the next scene after this, Roma, gets another phone call from the same photographer, and he goes, hey, now I got a movie role for you. And she's like, oh my God, that's amazing. A movie role, blah, blah, blah. He's like, unfortunately though, the movie role, like you have to, the movie shoot starts on your wedding day. And her wedding day was like a couple weeks like from that phone call. So she's like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Like, I can't call off my wedding for this. And he's like, well, and I think the photographer was also kind of dumb to like kind of egg this on. He's like, well, it's either the movie or the wedding. You pick. It's like, like anyone in your right mind would be like, I'm going to do my wedding, you know? Clearly this is a movie, and Roma is so narcissistic that she's like, you know what? I'll entertain the idea that I'm going to have to call off my wedding for this, right? So, that scene happens. Jackie Shroff, Ravi, I guess he was hanging out with Juhi, hanging out with Rima, and he was like, hey, let me show you something. Oh, sorry, I take that back. I remember what happens. I guess it was like they were going to go out again because of the whole fight scene that happened. They were going to go out again to watch the movie, and she now, because of this news that she got, she was like, oh, I can't go, I have a headache, blah, blah, blah. And then Ravi was like, all right, if you're not going to go again, I'll bring your sister Rima with me.
Yeah, that's also kind of weird.
Yeah, which is...
Of both sisters.
Yeah, I thought of it as like he just wants to get to know the sister more, I guess.
Oh,
right?
so he's not doing it to make her jealous.
No, I don't think he was doing it jealous. No.
He wasn't.
I felt like...
kind of weird. It's like, I'm just going to take your sister. I don't know you that well either, but...
Yeah, like I only met you last week, but let me bring you.
Maybe it's like, disies. Maybe he's like, oh, well, I'm going to be married into it, so might as well get to know your family.
Yeah, right. But as they were going to watch the movie, he takes a little detour to bring Rima into a room that he made for Roma. Ravi made a room for Roma. And this room is like from his house or whatever. It's like this really overly gaudy type room where there's a painting of Roma in the background. There's black walls and red curtains. It's like, holy crap. Like, what is this, a dungeon? Like, what are you doing here? It's like a love dungeon here, whatever.
Ew.
I don't know. It's weird because it was weird. It was like, it was black walls and red curtains and a painting of her in the back. Like, I don't know. It's strange.
Does seem very 50 Shades. I mean, that was literally the same decor.
Exactly. So, so it was just weird, very strange stuff. But anyway, so that happens. Cut to a next scene. They're, this is after I guess they watched the movie. Blah blah blah. They're now having chai. They're all having chai around the table. He goes, I guess Remo was making I don't know what happened exactly. It was like they were making chai, and he goes, can you put some sugar in it? And then Roma was like, well, I don't know how much sugar you take. And then Rima immediately jumps up being like, oh, he takes 2 spoons. Because I get, which I'm like, how did you know that? I don't know.
She's
like,
a sucker.
And this is where I thought he was some famous guy. Like this is where I thought he was a famous author of some sort. Because like, how did you know that? How did you know that he drinks with 2 spoons? I don't know. So it kind of shows that obviously Rima knows a lot about him, and likes him a lot. But he doesn't like her obviously because it's the person he does like is her sister, so it's kind of weird, Kind of cuts to the next scene. He brings 2 dresses, one red, one blue. And he gives the red dress to Rima. Oh, sorry, red dress to Rima, blue for Roma. And Roma immediately being like, "Ugh, ew, I don't like this blue dress. I want to have the one that Rima has. I want to switch with her." And Ravi was like, "Well, blue is my favorite color, so I thought that would, look good on you." And she goes, "Yeah, no, I'm not really feeling the blue. I'm gonna take the red and whatever." So it kind of shows the little friction that's happening here. And at one point in that scene too, I think when they switched the clothes, obviously Juhi Chawla Rima was like, "Oh wow, like this kind of is crappy. Like what the hell? Like this is like I like the red suit." So she's a little bummed out. And then at one point, I'm not sure how it was brought up, but then they were talking about like marriages again. And then she goes, quote, she doesn't need anyone special. Even an ordinary boring person will work too for her.
Oh god.
So it's just very kind of putting down Juhi. Yeah. Juhi cries obviously again. She cries again.
She's so mean to her.
Very, very mean. So Roma then cuts next scene. Roma does get she actually follows through with the movie offer. Yeah, weird photographer. I wrote here, weird photographer gives ultimatum. Being like, well, it's either your marriage or the movie. You pick. And then for some stupid reason, she picks the movie. And I guess she was trying to find an excuse of what to say to call off the wedding. And she, like during a chess match between her and Rima, she's like watching, she's like entertaining the idea of being like, oh, maybe we can hold off on the wedding, or maybe we can do this and delay it a little bit, or I'm not really feeling whatever excuse she says, just being whatever. And then at one point I think, after that conversation, Rima beats her in chess. Like, she being like, oh, she doesn't beat her. She just gives her a check. And then being the sourpuss that Rima is, she knocks the chessboard off, being like, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, come on, calm down. Whatever. So that happens. Cuts to the actual wedding. And song break. Amina, this is your song. This is your favorite song.
It is Meri Bando Ki Aayegi. Well, no, that's not it. It's the same lyrics. How's it go? Meri Bando Ki Aayegi Barat Tol Bajaogi. Meri Lado Ki Aayegi Barat Mel Tol Bajaogi. Aaj naachungi main ढोल बजाओगे मेरी बन्नो की आएगी बारात के ढोल बजाओगी मेरी लाडो की आएगी बारात के ढोल बजाओगी.
Well, the tea kettle clearly loves the song too. So
the tea kettle's kind of going off right now.
Feel free to take care of the tea kettle. We'll continue.
Yes, continue.
So the entire song is happening. The song is like very pop and circumstance. Everyone's happy, go lucky. Yeah, can't wait for the wedding to happen. Blah blah blah. And then I guess Rima goes upstairs to make sure Roma's getting ready, and she's not there. She leaves behind a letter. And basically, to paraphrase the letter, she goes, I kind of want to do this movie. I hope you understand. We'll do the wedding later. Whatever. I'll be back in a month. I'll be back in 28 days or whatever day she says. And And this is a movie. This is the part where I just didn't understand exactly why would Ravi, Jackie Shroff do this. He goes, well, and like he reads. Obviously, Rima reads the letter. She's devastated. Her mom comes in. Mom reads it, devastated. They show it to the dad, devastated. And then eventually, Ravi sees a letter, reads it, devastated. Right. So everyone's devastated in this room. And then she goes, and then Ravi, for some reason, is like, well, all right, I guess since I can't marry Roma, I'm gonna marry Rima.
Yeah,
it's like,
I know. It's like, didn't you love her? How could you just?
Like, it's like, how does that make any sense?
I thought it was about honor. Like, it was such a shame for like the families that he was like, let me just do this real quick. You know, like
I mean, it was.
I guess. Yeah, it was for honor, but it was just so strange.
Because he got stood up and he was like, you know what? I'm not gonna not get married tonight. I
gotta get married to someone.
He's like, I spent all this damn money. All the best guests from all over the world are here to see me, and I don't need no basically complete happening. Get the ugly sister.
Get her in there. Put a dress on her. Let's get
the wedding dress on.
Now, I wrote a note here, and I wanted to ask you guys this question really quick. I was gonna say, if you were at a wedding and you found out that the bride got up and left to do a movie role. Well, obviously you didn't know that she was doing a movie role, but she left, and you find out that he's married a completely different person. How would you feel about that?
We've had that happen in our family.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
That's part of a reason why I wrote that down.
And the reason why, how would I feel about that? I mean, it happened, and yeah, clearly, it's okay.
Clearly, it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. I guess it's
we'd
all
all
about the
just be
honor
like,
system.
and then get over it after 2 seconds.
Well,
Yeah.
we'd be like, well, if we attended that wedding, one, it'd be juicy.
Yep.
We'd love every second of it. But being on the family part of it, it is definitely, I would say, from secondhand experiences I've heard, it was a commotion, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a commotion.
I mean, so that's why I don't judge Jackie Shroff that much. I mean, who am I to judge him in the movie if, our own family did it? So.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, so he gets married with her seven pitties later.
7 pitties.
Pitties. Whatever. What that is exactly is like.
Sorry.
What a pit is to quickly explain is like
It's like your
when
vows.
It's your vows, and you go like in the Hindu tradition. I guess they walk around a flame as they do like the vows, and they do all of that happening at the same time, and they walk around this flame 7 times. So whatever, that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So jeez.
Okay. She's
Anyway.
there's a Auntie tea kettle in here.
Anyway.
Going crazy up, upstairs, and because I'm not around.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, so the wedding happens. They're in their honeymoon room that they're in, and Juhi kind of says, "Hey, listen, I'm married to you by on paper, but I can never be married to you. Like, I'm always gonna be the sister of the girl that you're going to marry. I'm always gonna be playing second fiddle to Roma." Because essentially Roma's presence, whether or not she's here or not, she separates us actually liking each other. And he goes, and then Jackie Shroff, Ravi goes, "Well, don't worry, I needed a friend I needed a friend anyway. And if anything, the day you want to be," I wrote, "you want to be lovers." He didn't say that. But,
the day you want to do it, I'll be ready.
Yeah. The day you want to be lovers, I'll be waiting at dawn, which is like, I'll be waiing
when
at dawn.
you're ready to have the sex with me, the sex Anna with me.
The sex Santa. Oh god.
I'll be ready at dawn. Can you imagine if she one day she opens her eyes, she's like, today's the day, and she turns around and his eyes are wide open and he's like, I knew it.
I knew it.
I could smell your pheromones.
And I also like, because it's a movie, they conveniently cue the sun coming up when he says I'll be waiting at dawn, and actually dawn breaks. So whatever. So that happens. What do you call it? So what happens here then? So Juhi, now that they're a married couple, they're trying to get used to each other. She's still a little hesitant around him. She's at his office. She looks at the books behind him, being like, "Hey, can I see one of those books can I like check out your book collection?" He's like, "Yeah, go for it."
Very Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. So she picks out a particular book that she. Sorry, what?
She said, except he's not a beast.
Oh yeah.
And I said, no, he's no beast, except. Anyway, I don't know where I was gonna go with that, but continue.
I was waiting, and it just got a little awkward.
What? Okay, no, I was gonna say something gross, but let's continue.
Anyway, so she's checking out his book collection, and she picks out one book that she wants to read, and it finds out that the book is autographed by Roma. She's like, "Ew, I can't read this." I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, "Oh, I can't read this." And then Jackie Shroff was like, "Well, let me see the book." Grabs a book, rips the page off, being like, "Don't worry, just read the book. She does not have to affect the book that you have to read." Blah blah blah. And then and I also wrote this quote that he says for verbatim, and this is I guess right after he hands her the book, and he's like, "All right, I gotta go," and he leaves. He stops, smells her hair, and he goes, "I love the smell of your hair."
Ew!
And that's, I wrote that down.
I hate how you went close to the mic, like, "I love the smell of your hair."
I wrote that down because I knew. I was like, that's just
how
strange.
It sounded to her. Like, her hair would.
I love your hair. like, it's weird.
It is because 2 days ago he was wanting to bone your sister.
You want to Sexana your sister, and all of a sudden he's smelling your hair like it's something.
He honestly, I'm gonna put it out there. All he wanted was Saxana with someone. Either sister would have been fine.
Oh god,
I'm sweating right now. I'm laughing.
Oh god. Anyway,
that term.
Sexana. Yeah, I'm totally using that term from now on. Sexana.
You could copyright it. I could copyright it.
That's the name of this episode, Bollywood Breakdowns.
The Sexana episode.
Let's talk about Saxana.
Yeah, that's gonna be the title right there. Yeah. So, and in between this, I guess right after he goes, I love the smell of your hair. Jackie Sheriff's brother, who I should probably name. His name is Vinay. He's played by
Deepak. Bad looking, by the way, the brother. And why couldn't one of them marry him? Am I weird?
No, and it's funny because it's like he did mention it twice. He's like, "Well, I want my big brother to get married so I can get my line clear." He said that twice in the movie. He's like, "I want my line to be clear," meaning that also, he's like, I want my fast path.
He's very nice.
He wants his Sexana.
He wants Sexana with one girl.
Yeah, he's played by Deepak Tihori. Whatever.
He was in a lot of movies back then, but that's all I can tell you.
But he was never like a leading man.
No, he was always played a supporting character of some sort. So yeah, he in between this, he convinces Juhi Chawla, Rima, to be like, "Hey, listen, like, yeah, you're married to him, but you look like, you basically, to paraphrase, you look like a bum. Can you doll up a bit? Wear a nice sari because you're newlywed. You should be happy that you're newlywed. Like, live a little bit." So she gets all dolled up. She wears a sari and blah blah blah. So then Jackie Sheriff comes in, sees her all dolled up. Obviously he's awestruck.
He's smitten.
Smitten immediately. She happens to be on the top of a ladder trying to put up a picture. She tries to hang a picture up, and then conveniently, of course, she sees Ravi, gets shocked, and then falls into his arms, perfectly placed arms that it was right there for him to catch. Catches her. Oh, wait, I'm just trying to read my notes here. He goes, I write here. The painting is quite beautiful. He writes this painting is quite beautiful as she falls off the ladder to his arms. So that's all. The next scene, I'm trying to by the way, I'm trying to like go a little quicker because I know it's already been an hour here, but
Wait.
Okay. So obviously, yeah. So falls into her arms, blah blah blah. The next scene, it's they're all having dinner, and this is also another awkward ass scene where they're all on the dinner table, they're all eating, and then I guess like Rima drops a fork, a knife, whatever, a utensil, and she tries to grab it, and then Ravi grabs her arm right there and like keeps it there, like keeps it below the table, like just trying to like in this weird awkward position where her arm is clearly extended to the floor, yet she's still trying to have a decent conversation with her family and everyone else. So it's kind of weird and awkward. And at one point he, instead of like, I think he felt bad that he kept her hand on the floor, that he like brought it up to his knee, and now it's even more awkward.
I just keep thinking about Saxena.
Just keep that in the back of your mind, listeners. It's Saxena.
It's just so pervy. Everything has now a tinge of perv.
Oh god, it's just so bad. It's so bad. But it's just so awkward. It's so awkward. It's just like, and then I remember at one point, I guess it was someone on the dinner table, her brother. It doesn't matter who it was, but they go, "Hey, can you pass me the thing? Pass me that dish." And then. No, sorry, I take that back. It wasn't pass me the dish. It was, hey, why are you? It was the mom being like, hey, why are you eating with your left hand? You're like, I guess she was right-handed. Why are you eating with your left hand? And then Ravi being like, the guy, obviously him holding her hand down. Yeah, go. Why don't you go explain that, Rima? Why can't you? Why are you eating with your left hand? It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just like, let her effing eat. like, can you just let her eat? God damn it.
She can't eat. She gotta stay fit.
She gotta stay fit.
Ew.
And then so the next scene, which is also just as awkward because remember Saxena. The next scene is Ravi taking a shower. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember this.
So I guess like she's doing something in their bedroom, cleaning up whatever she might be doing.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's taking a shower. And, like, he comes out with the shortest towel that I've ever seen, ever, on someone. It is comically short. And it's a little disgusting because it's, like, clearly there's shadows. Like,
oh, my God.
There's a little shadowing involved. Where you're like, what is going on here? What is happening? It's like, why? Okay, first off, like, I get it that you're married now, but, like...
This is also not the woman you chose to marry. This is not the woman
you chose.
She was a bystander at the damn wedding that got roped in, and now she has to look at your Saxena.
It's like you could have picked. Like, why did you pick a hand towel as one thing you want to wrap yourself around? Like, you couldn't pick a bat. Like, so you pick a hand towel, like I like something that's like two by 2 feet. Like, it's not worth it. It's not good. So yeah, I just wrote that note down because I thought it was really awkward. Another whatever. So that scene happens. Kind of cuts back. It's it's Jackie Shroff on a lunch date with Rima. And it's the same exact location with the first date that he had with Roma, where it's just like this New Zealand looking place. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It was all fields, and there just happened to be in the middle of the place is a restaurant, whatever. So they're all having dinner, blah blah blah. And then I write here that Rima's quote was, "You know how you said that I wanted to become more than friends to I just butchered it. You know how you said that when I wanted to become more friends to extend my hand to you? Well, ... she extends her hand. Cue the next song, Goria Re Goria.
Oh, I know exactly what song that is. I don't remember the tune, but I know exactly what song that is. That's like their fall in love song.
The fall in love song. I got it. I just need to hear them talk.
गोरिया रे मेरा दिल चुरा के ले जा सजना वे मेरी नींद उड़ा के ले जा
Yeah.
That's their wow ticka wow wow.
Wow, chicken. The little Sexana action right there. And then, and they're all happy. They're all dancing with these random village folks in the middle of goddamn nowhere, singing this song. They're all having a great old time. They cut back. He's walking into his house, and I just love how he walks into the house with Rima in his arms again. I don't understand why you're being a little too much right now. Come on. He walks in with him, holding her in her arms, and then as he turns around, he looks in the living room, and bum, Roma is sitting right there. And then I like how they cue a thunder shock, like a thunder and lightning storm right behind her too. It's like, like Roma's back. Yeah, and then I guess we'll end it here. We'll do a part 1 and part 2. But the last 2 notes that I have here, I wrote that it's strange that Jackie Shroff brings her into his arms and brings her in his house
because I know why he does it. Because that's what's traditional for the bride. That she like the first couple of steps, like he like has to bring her into the threshold. So I guess the whole point is that like now he was officially, after the Sexana, officially her his bride.
Have the Sexana yet?
Like, that intention was there, that they're like actually like gonna do it. So like he was like, "Oh, you're officially my bride, and so I'll carry you into the house like a real bride."
I'll carry you. And then and I just also wrote down here, like, I just love that they had to add the thunder and lightning behind Roma when she's there. She's had to. And then she obviously has this huge like like, oh my god, I can't believe you married her, and blah blah blah, and like you loved me first, and blah blah blah. And then she walks out of the room saying that and her quote was, "I won't allow you guys to live happily ever after." And that's it. And then all I wrote in quotes was spooky. Just spooky. Spoopy. And on that note, we'll end it right there. Well, what happens next? What happens with Roma and what happens with Rima? We'll see. I guess we'll have to wait till next week for that one.
Ooh, cliffhanger. First time ever on Foob and Friends.
Yeah, first time ever. And there's a good place to stop it because it gets crazy, guys. You think this is dramatic?
Yeah.
We got so much more. This is so much more dramatic.
No, it gets way worse.
It gets so much worse. But yes, and on that note,
follow us on Fob and Friends at Twitter and Instagram at Fob and Friends, or on Facebook, www.facebook.com/FobandFriends. Email us at fobandfriendspodcast@gmail.com. And rate and review us 4 to 5 stars on iTunes, Google Play, and leave good reviews only.
Thank you, guys, and tune in next week for a little Sexana.
Ew.